read in on something, you can't record it and you can't take notes. But I have a memory like a steel trap. And when I am exposed to something that I know is important, and when I am told something that I discern immediately is important, something happens inside my brain biochemically, and it's like the information gets burned into my brain. Turns out, ladies and gentlemen, that Venezuela is not about drugs, and it's not about oil either. That surprised me, because I initially thought we're going to grab the oil. They've got the largest oil reserves on the planet, and we're going to take them. That's what I thought. I really did. I may have said that on the radio a couple of times. But it turns out that all of us who are repeating, Iraq 2.0 or this is about Chevron, we had no idea what's actually going on, and I'm going to tell you the truth right now. Venezuela's military is haphazard at best, and, as a fighting force, it's basically dead. The troops, they're not even getting food. The Venezuelan army is demoralized. They have very limited fuel for their aircraft and their trucks, which is a stunning thing in a country like Venezuela, which possesses the largest proven oil reserves on planet Earth. But this is an aspect of socialism that shows that socialism is a failure. Country with the largest oil reserves on Earth, their military has little to no fuel. And because they're under economic sanctions, Venezuela has no spare parts for their military armaments and aircraft that break down and need parts. Half of Venezuela's air force is rusted or cannibalized for parts. And yet, the United States has deployed 30% of our deployable blue water Navy to Venezuela. Why are we treating this like a near-peer conflict? I was told today that Venezuela is packed with foreign military forces. Hezbollah has been in Venezuela since the Chavez years. Iran, the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, has been flying in drones, trainers, and command units to equip Venezuela with long-range drones, train their people how to use them, and to command the people learning and flying the drones. Russia has sent GRU advisors. Russia has sent S-300, and now it's confirmed today, S-400 surface-to-air missiles. They've sent Buks, B-U-K-S. They've sent electronic warfare gear. Russia has built hardened military bunkers, and Russia is providing Venezuela with cyber units. China has sent in radar arrays, including, allegedly, quantum radar, which can detect stealth aircraft based on air disruption. China has also sent missile systems, including hypersonic missile systems, and China has sent in drones. So, and Cuba? Cuba controls President Nicolas Maduro's internal security throughout the whole country of Venezuela. So what we have here, folks, is not Venezuela. What we have here is a forward operating base for the Russia, China, Iran axis. And this forward operating base is aimed straight at the United States. Millions of dollars in Russian and Chinese hardware is already in place. We're talking about S-300VM air defense systems, Buk M2 launchers, Chinese JY-27 radar, Chinese anti-ship missiles, Iranian drone bases, 5,000 plus shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles. You know, the man pads that can be carried in the field by soldiers? Electronic warfare stations, hardened IRGC-run bunkers, and operating throughout Venezuela are Cuban counterintelligence squads. Just yesterday, a Russian vessel that was trying to dock in Venezuela had been intercepted multiple times by the U.S. Navy, and it kept changing course and trying to get to Venezuela. Today, that Russian ship was allowed to dock. You want to hear why? Because whatever is inside that vessel, Russia made clear they are willing to go to war over. Today. So the ship was allowed to dock. I have no idea what's on the vessel. The real trigger for me delving so deeply into this that I got to read in today was a notice to airmen issued by the country of Spain regarding flights to and from Venezuela. And when I come back from this brief break, I'm going to tell you what the Spanish notice to airmen dealing with Venezuela told all Spanish airlines and why that notice to airmen triggered me to press so hard that I was able to be read in. You're listening to the Hal Turner Show. I'll be back after this brief celebration of America. Past 9 here in Metro New York City. Hal Turner back with you on worldwide radio stations WRMI and WWCR. Before the break, I was outlining that I was read in on the Venezuela situation. And I am reporting to you tonight what I was read in about. So, before the break, I mentioned there was a notice to airmen issued by the country of Spain regarding flying over Venezuela. And it was the wording of this Spanish notice to airmen that triggered me to just go balls to the wall, and get the information I needed to get. Spain told all their airlines in sum and in substance, quote, do not fly over Venezuela due to anti-aircraft weapons capable of operating at all altitudes, unquote. Uh-oh. Those of you who know about anti-aircraft weapons know which words triggered my interest. The words capable of operating at all altitudes. Those were the words. Because man pads, those shoulder-fired ones, like Stinger anti-aircraft missiles, they can basically only go to, let's say, 15,000 feet. Some of them a little higher, but only about 15,000 feet. And then the vehicle launched, the bigger missiles, they can go up 25, 35,000, 40,000 feet. But only the most sophisticated, like S-300, S-400, can go up to 100,000, 108,000 feet. Now, no passenger aircraft flies at that altitude. None. Most passenger aircraft fly lower than 44,000 feet. But when Spain told their airlines, quote, do not fly over Venezuela due to anti-aircraft weapons capable of operating at all altitudes. That, folks, only happens when anti-aircraft missile crews are actually on standby. That only happens when air defense radars are scanning the air for anything. That only happens when somebody expects they're going to have to shoot down aircraft. And this Spanish notice to airmen lines up exactly with the notice to airmen wherein the United States is clearing Caribbean airspace. It explains why we have repeatedly had B-52 Stratofortresses taking off from places like Minot Air Force Base in the Dakotas and flying simulation patterns off the coast of Venezuela. Cruise missile launch simulation patterns. But when you get to the gut of it, there was a TV interview. Some foreign TV station interviewed Venezuelan citizens. And on the TV interview, one of the citizens said, most Venezuelan troops are starving. The real backbone here is Hezbollah, the Iranians, the Russians, and Cubans. Even the common citizen on the street knows it in Venezuela. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what neither you nor I, before today, had been told by anybody. The United States isn't preparing for a fight with Venezuela. The United States is preparing for a fight with the foreign forces that are already inside Venezuela. And when this fight begins, and I am told it is going to begin, if those foreign forces activate, it appears that it will become a regional war within a matter of hours. And it was emphasized to me, if the U.S. moves in, it's not to take oil, it's not to stop drug dealers. Those will all be ancillary things. The U.S. would be moving in to neutralize foreign militaries. And then I got told a sentence that basically felt like I got hit in the face with a baseball bat. Guy told me, Hal, this is not labeled in Pentagon operational descriptions as a counter-narcotics operation. I said, what is it labeled at? He said, this is a counter-proxy operation. Whoa! Whoa! A counter-proxy operation? He said, yeah, Russia wants a missile corridor in the Caribbean. They're using Venezuela as a proxy. Iran wants a drone staging area near U.S. shores. Iran is using Venezuela as a proxy. China wants a foothold in South America to help their naval reach. China is using Venezuela as a proxy. And Hezbollah, they just want a financial and a smuggling hub. But they're using Venezuela as a proxy. So what we now have, folks, right this minute, is the closest thing to a Cuban Missile Crisis that we've had in 60 years, except now it's Russia and China and Iran and Hezbollah, not the former Soviet Union alone. And this is why the airspace where those notice to airmen were given out, that airspace is empty. This is why B-52s are up. This is why NOTAMs are out. The U.S. isn't worried about Venezuelan pilots. They're worried about foreign missiles, foreign operators, foreign bunkers, and foreign retaliation. This is bigger than anyone is saying. And here's the rub. Venezuela is Russia's Ukraine move. Told you, Russia and China are sending missiles down there to Venezuela, right? Turns out the missiles they're sending are nuclear capable. Now, no one from any credible intelligence agency has even hinted that actual nuclear warheads were shipped to Venezuela. No credible intel agency has ever suggested that to me. Other people have suggested it, but no credible intelligence agency has said it to me. So this is Russia's Ukraine move because they've provided nuclear-capable missiles in our backyard, the same way that the United States has provided nuclear-capable missiles in places like Poland and Romania. Oh, Russia is doing to us through Venezuela what we have done to Russia through NATO expansion and Ukraine. NATO pushed missile systems closer and closer to Russia's border. Russia screamed about this for 15 years, saying this was unacceptable NATO encroachment. Nobody listened. So now, Russia has placed nuclear-capable missile systems, radar nets, and strike forces in Venezuela, 1,300 miles from Florida. And now, suddenly, the world is paying attention. Russia made the same move against the United States that the United States and NATO made against Russia. It's a mirror. This is tit for tat. This is a strategic, your turn in the nuclear chess game. Russia couldn't put missiles in Mexico or Cuba without triggering global panic, so they put them in Venezuela. Behind the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hezbollah, Cuban security agents running Maduro's regime, and aided by China weapons provision. This is Russia's Cuban Missile Crisis. And that's why airspace is cleared, B-52s are airborne, naval aircraft carriers are shifting south, NOTAMs are out, and Venezuela's on red alert.
No word in the English language.
6 p.m. Going to open the phones to callers very shortly. This thing going on with Venezuela is not about diplomacy. It's about preventing Russian nuclear assets from establishing a permanent foothold in our hemisphere. Because once those systems are in, they never leave peacefully. I don't have to point out to you folks, this isn't Iraq. This isn't Libya. What's going on right now with Venezuela is a superpower standoff. And Venezuela is just the ground that they're using. Reminds me of an old saying out of India. When elephants fight, the grass gets trampled. Venezuela is about to get trampled because elephants are fixing to fight. And that's where the fight's going to happen. If Russia has provided medium-range or missiles to Venezuela, those medium-range missiles can reach Florida, southern Georgia, Alabama, southern Mississippi, southern Louisiana, a large portion of southern Texas. If they provide intermediate range missiles, they'll be able to reach all the way up to Washington, D.C., and depending on the missile, maybe even New York City, from Venezuela. 10-minute flight time from launch to impact. That's what this is about. It's not about drugs. It's not about oil. Venezuela has become a forward operating base for Russia, China, and Iran. And we, in the United States, are in the crosshairs. Those are the stories I wanted to report to you tonight. I'm going to open the phone. Well, wait. I'm going to clear the phone lines of the people who called in just to listen. Those phone lines are now clear. The telephones are now open at country code 1-201-771-3013. Again, 201-771-3013. Now, it is 9:49 p.m. And as I wait for people to call in, because only two are now calling in, I want to give you... Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
It's Kevin in Ohio.
Hey, Kevin, what's up? Who's next? Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Hal. It's Pete in Boynton Beach, Florida.
Pete in Florida. What's up?
I totally agree with you that this is exactly the Cuban Missile Crisis, the same as Ukraine. Was it for, or is it for Russia? And as such, it is an existential threat to the U.S.
Yep.
John F. Kennedy viewed it as an existential threat, and we have no option this time because we cannot blockade Venezuela. We have no option but to militarily engage before the situation gets worse.
I agree. I don't like having to agree, but I agree. And we brought it all on ourselves, Pete, by what we did in Europe with NATO, expanding right up to Russia's border.
Exactly.
We did this. They are merely responding to what we have done for years.
Yeah, and now we have no choice but to engage them in Venezuela and take some losses in southeastern U.S.
I agree. Pete in Florida, got to let you go. Thanks. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Hal. This is Bill in New York.
What's up?
You know, the question is, does the U.S. really want to engage over there? Because you just said that they backed off on that cargo ship, that Russian cargo ship, that Russia said that they better bring that ship better come to port, or they're going to consider it like an act of war.
Yes.
So they backed off. They backed off on that, which might have maybe that's the reason things didn't happen the way you thought they were going to happen that night.
Yeah.
Maybe the U.S. is kind of intimidated here.
I don't think so. I think we may need more time to get more assets in place.
I don't know. It's a dangerous situation. I know that.
Bill in New York, thanks for calling in. Hello, Cole, you're on the air. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Is this me, Hal?
Yes, it is.
Hey, this is Terry from Central Texas. I did not catch where the ship was unloading, the Russian ship. Could you repeat that?
I didn't give the location.
Oh, you did not? Okay. I'm sorry. I thought I'd missed it. All right. Well, thank you so much for everything you do, Hal.
You're welcome. Good night. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Hello, caller. You're on the air. Where are you calling from?
How you doing? This is Tyrone, calling from Detroit. I want to say, first of all, Hal, thank you for everything you're doing. I wish everybody donates more money to you for your cause. And I have active members in the military, and Putin actually gave a warning, said that he was going to do these things that the United States have done in Ukraine since 2014. And now that this is popping off in Venezuela, I just want to bless you and thank you for spreading news that people need to hear.
Yep.
And again, I just wish that more donations come through so your platform can grow bigger, man. Good job, man.
All right, then. Tyrone in Detroit, thanks so much for calling in. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Albert from Eastern Kentucky.
Hello, Albert in Eastern Kentucky. What's up?
Well, first off, I give my tip of the hat to you. I called in last week, I was your last caller, and I brought up that there were Russian nukes in Venezuela, and you thought they were missiles in Venezuela, but you didn't know they were Russian nukes in Venezuela.
Uh-huh.
So, and then it's just as things are accelerating, and, you know, it's just like this time last year, there was supposed to be a false flag that had to be called off because some guy was driving too fast and wrecked his car on the bridge from Canada to the U.S., and it blew up and made everybody spooked, and so everything didn't happen in New York City like it was supposed to. So
it's going to get worse.
Yeah, it's going to get worse.
All right, Albert in Eastern Kentucky, man. Thanks for calling in. Very busy tonight. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Who are you calling from?
Evening, Hal. This is your colleague, your old friend, and your enemy, Pastor Sam in San Salvador, El Salvador.
Pastor Sam is not an enemy of mine, at least not as far as I'm concerned. Welcome back.
That's very kind of you to say. I'm very happy about a Venezuelan intervention. This is the freedom of our hemisphere. This is the culmination of the Spanish-American War. It's the culmination of all the Latin American independence movements that began 100 years before that. These regions, these nations have fought for 200 years now and never gotten fully free from globalist powers, from European powers. China's the big duck in the pond. This is an intervention that has to happen. The heart of all of the destabilization of Latin American countries is Venezuela. There's 40 million people there being held captive. They're in despair. They are hopeless. They're lifeless. They're highly educated people, most of them. All the criminals have been exported. The migrant caravans come from Venezuela. The election fraud comes from Venezuela. We've had a number of nations go communist during the Biden administration. It all comes out of there. We got to clean it out.
Pastor Sam calling tonight, I think you said from El Salvador. Well, thank you. Welcome back to the show. I hope you'll continue to call in. Folks, you've been listening to The Hal Turner Show. I'm here Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. That time zone is GMT minus